Good afternoon, everybody. Pleasure to be here, and would look forward to have a fruitful discussion here. Um, how we'll go about this scenario is we'll go left to right. I have around 5 to 6 topics that we'll cover. Um, I would request each speaker probably to take in 3 4 minutes to talk on the topic, and then we'll open the last 5 to 10 minutes for the audience for questions. So, beginning my time in here, I think my first question, and a very interesting one, um, leveraging the ever-changing trends on Meta Algo, and how do you see handle the ups and downs there in terms of uh, CAC going up and down and still coming out winning with ROAS?
Um, Hello everyone, I'm Vinayak and I run a home gardening company called 𝐊𝐧𝐨𝐰. We do products there, uh, specifically focused on fertilizer and consumables. We have had a long journey with, say, Meta ads. I mean, we happened to start at a phase where Meta ads were really lucrative, 2019, 20, 21. And I think you tend to believe that you are doing something right. And when things started to fall apart, say in 2021, April, it was the time when you had the second COVID wave, the change in privacy policies, Meta algorithm, everything came together in that month. And then, obviously, for a few months, we tried to try different things and other aspects. But broadly, one thing that has changed for us and has worked for us over last 2 years has been that focus more on, say, repeat purchase and LTV for customers and not focus your business on CAC being really good. So that also means that you do a lot of activities which are organic, whether webinar, social media, or other things. Then you use that data, leverage that data to train or run your Facebook ads better, Meta ads better. And that has something that has worked with us. Specifically talking about going in details, I think for us, Reels and Reel-based ads have always worked better. Advantage Plus has not. We have chosen to go with our existing customer base, lookalike audience, and we have been lucky that we had a lot of options there. So we could pick up high purchasers, low purchasers, and everyone which was significant number. And that kind of worked. But overall, one thing as a takeaway for me has been that don't depend on Meta as being your driver of business and focus on LTV. That has been the main.
Lovely. One question on the same topic for you. Between targeting, do you prefer for your brand Instagram more or Facebook more?
So Instagram is cheaper for us, Facebook is volumes. So that is how it works for us. So we can't ignore either. It also, I think, relies on, because on Instagram we have a good presence. So we have, like, say, 3.5 lakh followers and all that. So that data itself of the content allows Instagram rates to come down for us. But volumes are in Facebook. That's what we have found.
Fair enough. Thank you so much for your insights there. Um, I'll move on to the next question, and it's a personal favorite of mine as well. And I think building upon the first question itself, um, what is social media beyond Meta? What are the other channels to be leveraged? And is there a different strategy for those channels? And what are your favorite channels when it comes to ignoring Meta and going beyond that?
Hi everyone, I'm Ketan, and we run this brand called Plush, which is a feminine hygiene venture. So we're into period care, intimate wellness, sexual wellness, right, for women specifically. So with that in context, I think social media is basically evolved since the time we've started 5 years, right? From a very, even how we think, right? From a very performance-driven creatives, we now think of how do we build content pieces, right? So that narrative has slightly changed, at least in our team room or the brain, right? We're not just only thinking कि हमें अच्छा ad बनाना है, but we're thinking what can we do for content? Because there are so many people advertising so many things that it's very difficult to say one thing because example, if our brand is saying rash-free periods, every other brand is saying rash-free periods. So how do we make sure that our rash-free periods stands true, or we make the either you have enough amount of money to make sure that you're the loudest, or we make sure that you're slightly more 360 degree. In maybe a few years ago, that would be TV newspapers, but considering young ventures, I think that's where the power of other social media platforms come in. So, example, the last couple of years, we've started to leverage YouTube a little more because I think a lot of search also now happens on YouTube, while Shorts is also there where there's a lot of traffic which is also gone there. But I think that is a traffic because people are searching for it. Like people are searching for best something, people are searching for their problems, people are searching for their use cases. So that's where when there's another sort of genuine user review which comes up, right, that becomes like crazy. And the third thing, I think the other platform, I mean, it may depend from like the brand to brand or brand in its own journey. There's Snapchat, there is Twitter, there is LinkedIn. The other platform, I think, which we're starting to explore and we are seeing some decent traction to generate trust, right? Which is what is very essential for our category is LinkedIn. Because you know that there is a serious audience out there. You can't just pay anyone and randomly ask them to, post about yourself. So that sort of lever sort of helps us there. So there is a lot of audience beyond Facebook, or beyond Instagram. And first things, but of course, if you're initially not in the journey, I think typically pick the easiest fruit, which is Instagram, because you can go as targeted as possible.
Very interesting point that you mentioned in there, right? That if there's a certain sort of communication that you're building up for your brand, suddenly you will see your competitor picking up the same piece and creating content around it. So is your suggestion probably around the idea that churning out more content at God level speed is what really is going to work out good for brands?
I mean, if not more content, I mean, like your content should either have the highest amount of budget, which most ideally is not the case with every other brand, right? So more difficult. So I would say saying the same thing consistently, because like we have seen our same communication, like let's take the example of our catalog, almost a replica of, same communication being maybe changed in some other colors in another brands. Now, you can't do much about it, but I feel consistency, if you're just saying the same thing again and again, through different platforms, through different people, somewhere it will start to sort of merge together.
Fair enough. And is there a personal favorite channel of yours where you feel that, if I follow a certain set of norms, this channel is definitely going to work in this direction for me? Or is it still a very hit and run and hit and trial kind of a scenario where you try out, and then you kind of come up and hop onto a particular kind of content that does and cover ups for the rest of the content pieces?
So I think for us, I'll tell you our challenge also, right? We have a lot of the brands usually see that they have so many Instagram followers, but little purchasers, right? Little consumers. But we kind of face the other problem where we have a lot of consumers, like we have a lot of purchasers of a product, but very few interacting or very few followers of our page. So whenever we launch any new content or something, it gets difficult because it reaches a smaller audience than our current base. So which is where I think when you've got your other data sources right, it sort of helps. But for like personally, I think which is slightly more predictable as a platform, I think Instagram is still there because you can go as targeted as possible again, because once you know that this is the kind of set profile that your product and your audience is, that targeting sort of helps, right? So with that sort of like initial budget, initial sort of getting the first 100 users, it's slightly easier in Instagram, I feel.
Thank you so much for the insights. Are very fruitful in there. Right, let's move on to our next question. And the next question is a personal favorite for all the brand managers out there. What is that mantra where you say that this is how I'll build up brand loyalty? And is it an art? Is it a science? Are there tech solutions around it that you can leverage? And a little more light on that.
Hello everyone. I am from Otipy. Otipy delivers fresh fruit, vegetable every morning, and this service is available in Delhi NCR. We are working from last 3.5 years. So, considering fruit and vegetable as a category, you can imagine it's not exactly going to work like some other categories like apparels or things in the social media and can fly off. There are very few tags on around which you can work. Maybe fresh. Recently, we have thought about and did our focus group studies, and we found in premier cities, people are ready to pay for premium for safety. So fresh and safe is now our logo. When we started, it was fresh only. So it is very important to identify for which category, what kind of values can give you little bit advantage. So we find now that 20 to 25% of our total uh, users are ready to pay say X% premium, 10 to 20%, if we say that these fruits or vegetable are safer than available in the market. Now, this we have tried in last 6 months, and it has given some fruitful result. But I'm getting back to building the loyalty when we started. Again, uh, we acquire users in say 500, 600, 800 bucks for different brands. And fruits and vegetable is not a category where you can make more than 10 to 15 rupees in one particular SKU sales. So even if people buy 5 to 6 vegetable, it's like 50 to 60 rupees margin. With cost and added things, you will require 20 to 30 order to recover. So for us, building some kind of brand loyalty is very important. Otherwise, we can't survive, literally. And this is not one of the product where you can create a lot of visual difference in your product. So you have to rely on service. So there are certain brands which work on their content and their visual appeal. We have to work on our service better, which was quality and delivery to start with. But even if we do that, we find that user may not be with you because they will not start loving you immediately. So we have to create product hacks so that they start spending a lot of time with you, and then only the brand loyalty will come. For example, retention of all the consumers in our cohort which have ordered say more than 30 times or 40 times, weekly retention will be 85%. But people who have ordered only 10 times, their weekly retention is 55. So there is a lot of graph and cohorts which you see, and then you try to progress user to the next level. So to build that hack, you have to, and fruit vegetable, since user has no perceivable difference, so you have to play a little bit on the price to start with. So you have to contract your margin. That you can do by basket starter deal, that okay, this is like tomato in 10 rupees, I will definitely add, and I will try to check out in 99. As soon as you reach to 10, 20, 50 orders, that will not be available on 10. But on that particular journey, we will try to see that what is your frequency, weekly frequency, what is your AOV, and things like that. And to achieve that, we are using multiple tools. The first tool is uh, internal tools. When I say the first tool is, I want user to keep a lot of money in my wallet. So we are negative cash flow business. So at the start of the month, everybody who is getting loyal to us, based on his last month purchase, we try to upgrade them to go and submit more and more money to my wallet. As soon as his money is locked with me, he will order me because he knows it's a fruit, vegetable, and some grocery shop. So he'll come and order from me. So that order is like 80% of our order is somehow related to wallet. Why people will come and deposit their money? So we started giving 10% free money. Now, if you give 10%, the problem is in fruit vegetable you may have margin, but suppose user will start using that money in buying say grocery, then your margin is lost.
Fair enough. So I would like to
So
kind
there's
of,
a lot of things, but okay,
yeah,
I'll
but
take your
just in
questions.
between, I mean, very minutely in there, I'll be very blunt here, and I think a lot of us would have this question. I personally have this question. Do you think something like brand loyalty really exists today? Considering with every year going by and the newer generation pitching in with a lot of buying power, uh, there is this norm of a lot of experimentation, and that's become a norm with the generation that's keep coming up further ahead. Do you think something like brand loyalty really exists today, or would you say that, I don't think so there's anything called brand loyalty left anymore?
So brand loyalty exists with consistency of your service, quality. If it degrades, user will just leave it. So I've seen user leaving us completely or leaving a particular product, so their sales goes down by say 90% if the product is in a week continuous, it is bad. Right. So there is nothing called brand loyalty in the service industry, first of all. Second thing is you always have to look on signals that somebody who is doing better than you in that particular service, even if you are good, you will start seeing there is a loyalty churn. I think building a brand and that loyalty kind of thing exists with much more bigger brands. The smaller players, they always have to look for those metrics and signals in their daily sales, their user behavior, see who is coming to disrupt them and things like that. It's for small players, I will absolutely say there is very little brand loyalty for a long tail. There may be few percentage of the user who will believe that.
Understood. Thank you so much for your insights there.
At least this is my insight from my services where I belong to. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
My next question would be relevance of influencer marketing today. Do you think the customers have become smart enough to understand that it's just an influencer marketing? And would you say that micro influencers today probably have a bigger leverage than probably a national level influencer?
Hello everyone, I'm Rahul from Love of India. We sell authentic product from village to urban, and we guarantee कि जो product आपके पास आएगा वो 100% authentic होगा. We are selling Idukki spices, raw spices, A2 ghee, honey. Recently we launched coffee and many more in upcoming time. Talking about the influencer, I feel now trend is shifting from influencer to creator. If you are influencer and you have 2 million subscriber or followers, what you can say, this will not work for me. If you can create a video where you can mention Love of India ghee made by this, and you can educate my audience, that video will help me. Either you have 2 million subscriber or either you have 20K subscriber, doesn't matter. I think trend is shifting to influencer, to micro influencer or creator. That if creator can create a video that helps brand, this will help me more. If maybe a small creator, let's put example, a small creator, let's suppose उसके पास 20K followers है, and वो एक वीडियो बनाते हैं एंड वो वीडियो रीच नहीं खाती उतनी, मतलब उतना रीच नहीं आया, 2-4 परचेज आए मैक्सिमम, बट आई कैन यूज़ दैट वीडियो, रन ऑन मेटा, रन ऑन यूट्यूब, एंड आई कैन गेट सेल्स. आई हैव फंड्स, आई कैन यूज़ on various platforms. But I think creator economy is growing and influencer economy is dying. This might be wrong, but from my point of view or what I see, I collaborate with multiple influencer and doesn't get any ROI from that. But micro influencer works for me and works for my friends' brands as well.
Yeah, I mean, you just said something there saying that I might be wrong. I would say there's nothing right or wrong in the D2C gamut. There are things that surprise a lot of us every day. And there could be things that work for you, might not work for somebody else. It's just our experiences that we are sharing in here. So when you say moving towards micro-influencers and creators, I also want to kind of put in this word here, the buzzword, which is the AI these days, that a lot of people are being, I'd probably be coming to you as well on that. But do you think there's a lot of use of AI avatars that are being used, and do you think there's a future to it and that can be leveraged?
Yes, Yes, there is a lot of use of AI avatars. Actually, you can teach your AI to tell us about your product, and you can use ChatGPT as well to find new trends and educate your audience as well. This is very important to education. Let's see if you have 2,000 follower on your brand page, because Meta doesn't promote brand organically, but you are running ad and you are spending 50 lakhs rupees per month. You can see by your analytics dashboard, many people visited your profile actually. So if you put content on your profile, it doesn't matter you have 1 or 2 follower or if you have millions follower. If you are putting content on your page, this will give you a boost. I'm saying I am selling authentic product. How you believe I am selling an authentic product? You saw my ad. I'm mentioning I am selling the authentic product. I influencer is saying love of India honey is this and this and that. You visited my profile. You see my work. That I am visited at beekeeper house and something we are exporting from there, and AI avatar explaining about our products, explaining about new trends in our product, explaining about FAQs of our products, and customer start believing. Then I also use omnipresence trick on Meta, so I can retarget them, and the belief is there, the trust is there, the brand is there. Simple. Brand equals to trust. So I can able to build trust by using AI as well, but not only AI. I believe branding is the mixture of all. You have to try all and figure out what is working for me and what is not working for me or what is not working for you. As simple as that.
Thank you so much. I think simple always works. I've always believed in that idea, and thank you so much for your thoughts there. Great. Moving on to the next question. The elephant in the room, marketplaces. There are a lot of debates around it. Do we depend on marketplaces, not depend on marketplaces? How much should we depend on them? Is there a different strategy at a different stage of a company? So how do you look at marketplaces? Do you still look at them as just a sales-oriented platform, or do you think there's enough leverage there for brand building as well? And then probably how can you also pitch in AI there and kind of, build in insights around it and make it probably work better for you?
Yeah, sure. So the term marketplaces itself is self-explanation. It's a place where you can put some gist about your brand. It could be products that you're selling or the story that you want to put up, like the single page that Amazon gives and any other marketplace today gives. But to totally depend upon marketplaces to build your brand is absolutely incorrect. And that's the difference, that if you compare global markets with India, if you see majority of the brands globally in the US, 80 to 90% of their revenues flow via their website. 10 to 20% dependency is on the marketplaces, and the stats are quite opposite in India. 80 to 90% happens via marketplaces, and the biggest reason of this huge difference in mindset is we tend to think short term when we launch a brand. We think on day 0, if we are launching our brand, on day 30th, we should get sales. Of course, that's easy on marketplace because you are sharing commission. But on website, you need to do the hard work. And that hard work is not that you need to do consistently over time. It decreases over time. You just need to put in some hard work in the early days. But the brand that you're going to build with your own website, with your own social media presence is far apart than what you could do on marketplaces. We think, honestly, marketplaces could be used as, top of the funnel where people are discovering your brand, but brand building should happen on your own platform. It could be anything, your page, social page, your website, and nowadays AI, like you can literally deploy AIs to master your brand. Let's say, for example, I had put this content on LinkedIn just last week, which was around why Victoria's Secret sells so well, why they have become like one of the biggest lingerie brands in the world. The reason is not that they have the best product. The reason is because they were able to sell aspirations. Those young girls, if you see Victoria's Secret fashion show, those were the things that kind of became aspiration for any young girls in United States or globally. So that is what, as a brand, we should strive to achieve. So if you own an office wear brand, focus on creating campaigns around how a young girl who joined as an entry-level associate became a VP of marketing in the same company, and her preference was wearing your apparel brand. So if you focus on those kind of campaigns, irrespective if you're putting your product on marketplace or website, it does not matter. And that's where, AI could help you. So for example, today, when you put a campaign which is aspirational, then people usually a decade back used to come to your offline shop to shop, and your sales associate used to take care of creating or continuing that aspiration in your consumer mind. But now on website, you can replicate that sales associate behavior using AI. So yeah, it's now an easy world with AI to build brand. Outside marketplaces should be preferred. If marketplaces, then use it as top of funnel. So yeah.
Lovely. Thank you so much for the insights there on the topic. I have last two questions that I'm going to open up to the entire forum, and probably start again with you there on the left corner. The ever-increasing competition over online, CACs going higher every day. How do you still keep them in check? Is there a different strategy that we can adopt where probably CACs can be kept under check and still float your boat?
I think for starters, price for next 5 years. Whenever you price, I mean, price considering you will be a big company with overheads, price with everything will multiply with 3 times in cost. And that becomes a very comfort zone, because while your expenses keep increasing, you would know it's really difficult to charge that 1 rupee extra, because that 99 rupee, 599 is the sweet spot.
Right.
Now, the moment you go 600, 649, it's a huge difference there. So first, I think that's luckily what we got right, because we actually looked at Amazon commission structure. It was changing around 500 mark, and we were like, oh, okay. So whatever, everything came together, and we were clear that we won't be able to increase price, and we worked with that. So that worked well. In general, as I say, and what he was also adding, say, even in a low-cost margin business, your loyalty is adding, say, the profits for you. It's important that first sale is profitable, but your real value unlocks with the repeat sale.
Absolutely. Yep.
And you asked a good question, which I wanted to add to whether brand loyalty exists. So how I look at it is that brand is a promise, right? And you have full freedom to promise anything. You can promise cheapest thing. You can say, my things are mediocre, they're going to be cheapest. You can say it's mediocre, available everywhere, which a lot of coffee drinkers might say Starbucks does, right? Available everywhere. Or you might say premium. Like say when you go to a luxury store, you don't expect it to be a reasonably priced product. You want it to be a good quality product. And for me, I think good example is Maruti. I mean, they started with the ad campaign of great mileage. Then they went to service center everywhere. And then things like that, bigger space. So their value system kept changing, but they stuck to that. And I think
very good point put up there. I think what you're saying is promise and then deliver. That's about it, right?
And as long as you maintain that promise, you will have the, like when you talk about marketplace versus D2C, there are people who want convenience. They will always buy from Amazon. The day you are not there, they will not buy, or Blinkit.
Fair enough.
So I think just to add to that perspective and the overall question, like how CACs are going to go up, like, I mean, eventually, like how it's growing up, wo to badna hi hai. Similarly, I feel that's the negative, but I think the other side is similarly, the brand's AOV will also eventually keep on rising. Yep. Because jaise more number of players are coming onto the market, jaise brands are a trust build ho raha hai. So if you see, there was a time where probably so many orders were on COD. Abhi you see there are so many orders on prepaid also. Yep. For our brand, it's say 60% above is on prepaid. So जैसे वो trust आ रहा है, AOV भी बढ़ेगा, and your so I mean that's where eventually you know that this is going to be there. So as a brand, what we also strive is how do we make sure the AOV is rising with that, and like this is also co-relevant to the brand loyalty. Right. which is basically our business, which is very high on brand loyalty or repeats. Thereafter, the second purchase is where your the AOV is double or triple than the first purchase, right? So, jahan pe, like how you've seen so many offers, buy 3 at 9.99. I mean, that's where the AOV game comes in, and you have to make sure that the math fits it.
Fair enough. Thank you so much.
I'll just add a point here.
Sure.
So, CACs will keep going up, and obviously, I agree with his point that the AOV will keep increasing. So, it's more about the quality of user which you acquire. Suppose you are selling 100 products. I'll just give you one example. It's easiest way to acquire a customer in grocery businesses. You sell milk, but milk has 80 paisa margin. Okay, your CAC will be low, but if you keep acquiring milk user, you will not be ever profitable. But instead of that, suppose you build a brand on milk, then you can charge 8 rupees, 10 rupees, 15 rupees per pack, and if he survives for 30 order, you have got it for lifetime. So the idea is get quality users.
Fair. Good point.
I also want to add some point. I think CACs increase होगा. I also agree with this, but विन वो करेगा जो कि बेटर स्ट्रेटजी प्ले करेगा. लाइक जो मेटा का ट्रेंड है, वो ट्रेंड जितना अच्छा अब्जॉर्ब कर पाएंगे हम लोग, उतना ज़्यादा विन होगा. लाइक अगर हम बात करें आज से 2-3 साल पहले, पोस्टर एड्स आर वर्किंग फाइन, वेरी वेरी फाइन. देन रील्स पे आए. रील्स में लोग ओपन छोड़ देते हैं, बट रील्स के अंदर अब स्पेसिफिकेशन आ गया, रील सेक्शन में डालो, स्टोरी सेक्शन में डालो. नाउ पीपल आर मूविंग ओनली ऑन स्टोरीज, and CAC is dropping by 800 rupees to 300 rupees. I see this. And I give you one more example. If we are recording this video in landscape and we run ad, then we might see the CAC of 800 rupees. And we can experiment one more video, put in a horizontal face, a portrait for, thank you. And put in portrait, zoom my face, and then run same ad to same audience. You will see the CAC is reducing. One more hack I can share is targeting. Everyone is doing targeting. This is my target. This is my target. But people are not using tools, specific tools to find perfect targeting. Why I have to try 25 audience when I can get same result to test out the 10 audience, to find out 10 perfect audience, run ads, find 3 hero ads, and scale. Simple. You will win.
Right. Fair enough point. Thank you so much. And last thoughts from you, please.
Yeah, so I feel from an indexing standpoint, of course, a platform which is becoming old now, like Meta or Google, CAC would go high. But as a brand evolves, from a brand journey, I feel it should come down if the brand loyalty is increasing, the brand awareness is increasing. So in a nutshell, I feel brands should not worry much about CACs going higher, because as all of us here said, that AOV is going to go up. But we should always be wary about, is our loyalty and awareness increasing enough? And that is not the reason impacting my CAC to go up. If we are making sure of that, everything's great. And the last point which he said, if you are doing right experiments and quick experiments, then you could definitely see huge delta in your CACs. For example, I was reading about an AI tool where you could, like, using one single video creative, you can create around 100 such different videos, different experiment in each video within 3 to 4 minutes, and put that on your meta ads and see which is performing well. So if your appetite to experiment becomes faster, bigger, I think CAC problems can be handled very well.
Thank you so much for the point in there. And while I'm not one of the speaker and I'm moderating the session, I would take this honor to also introduce my brand. I'm from Herbal Chakra. We own 2 brands, Purely Yours and 𝐊𝐳𝐲𝐻. We are catering to wellness and nutritional products, one for the adult category and one completely focused on kids and babies. In a gist, I think a couple of things that I would put in to the perspective here is, one, I completely agree that, brand building definitely exists, brand loyalty exists, as long as you can promise something and then deliver that till the very end, till the end of your company actually till the time you exist, if you're delivering it, the brand loyalty stays intact. In terms of, a lot of discussion that we're having here, I would also say products important. The 80-20 rule, I think you'll have to find a few products where you have insane margins, which might sell less, might not give you volumes, but cover up more than enough for your CACs. And whereas there'll be other products which give you volumes. So you need to find a great balance between these two scenarios in here. This kind of solves a lot of issues for us because meta algos will keep changing and there's a limit to experimentation as well, right? There's a limit, and a lot of us here are startups. There's a limit to the budgets that we have. There's a limit to how much we can exhaust. So I think that's where this becomes super, super important. In terms of marketplaces, I would say, I hold a little bit of a different opinion here. I think it's a great platform to build up brands as well. I think I can never say enough, a brand like Boat got built on Amazon, right? And he himself admits it. I would probably say we'll have to go beyond just the category page, leverage their premium content, leverage their A+ content, then from A+ go to A+ premium, enroll in their seller flex programs. There are a lot of things that they're doing. And then, especially for us, right, a brand that is catering to kids and babies, First Cry is something that becomes a great platform for me to get explored. The moment I'm there, I'm being able to communicate what my brand is doing. My brand searches start increasing. People start to look at me in isolation. So I think I would also say that marketplaces are not just there for sales. I think you can do enough there in terms of brand building as well. Apart from that, I think high bids and competition. Again, too many scenarios in there. I would also say let's be a little smarter about it. What we've started doing here is I actually drive a lot of traffic on blogs. I literally run ads on blogs. I don't run ads on product pages. My costs are much lower, very relevant audience coming and reading, and they start getting converted. So it's something that when I speak about, a lot of people say, what the hell are you doing? And I said, I want to do it. And we've been doing it, and there have been great results around it. I've seen a lot of people reading blogs and then with the hyperlinks ending up buying products. The cost to them is actually peanuts when you compare it to getting them to land on their direct product pages and very, very direct keywords. So I think these are a few pointers from my end where I would like to kind of conclude the session and open the podium for any questions that you have for our panelists.
Yeah, that was a really good session about specifically speaking about Meta's algo, right? Just one curiosity here. You mentioned something, I think Vinayak will resonate more on this. You mentioned something, lookalikes campaign, where you drive more high value conversions. Are you able to measure the campaign which has actually gave you such high value conversions? Were you able to do that?
So what I meant was we look at the customers so we classify into buckets. First we look at first purchase value. So we classify customers who on the first purchase are, say, above our average order value, and we take that data.
Yes.
Or we see customers, so typically our product pages have an option to buy single, pack of 2, pack of 3, pack of 4. So we will look at people who chose on the first purchase to buy more than pack of 1, right? Then we put those in lookalike, and we do the single one separately.
Okay.
And then we do different lookalike for LTV, which have repeat behavior.
Okay.
And typically now my CAC expectation from every is different. But surprisingly what happens is there's a consumer behavior because of lookalike that actually my CAC for higher purchasers comes to be lower. My only guess is that they decide to not buy or buy faster and algo is not showing them again and again. And that's the only thought that I have there. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, just a curiosity, follow up over there. So you lookalike campaigns. Its job is to bring new visitors or probably first time purchases for you, not the repeat ones, right?
No, not repeat, but people with similar characteristics as people
Exactly.
who purchase more from me in the first go.
Correct. Was the deliver positive? Like, was it working for you? Campaign A, you create a lookalike audience and you optimize it for it. And do you get high value purchases, first time purchases for that specific campaigns? Was it successful?
Yes. So how we measure it, one is ROAS, and when we look at repeat order value in 60 days from the first purchase, and in that it stands out. Also, another thing that I feel is, like I personally believe, though we do all this, that creative wins every time over targeting, right? So what we try to also do is we try to keep the same creative that works. So it might be just that creative got high value customers, so lookalike me again, it is getting the high value customers.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty hit on the nail kind of a scene. Creative will always kind of drive results for you, because no matter how much the algo changes, your creatives are going to be, it's similar to how readability index is and how easy it is for a consumer to discover you.
Like we have started doing since about 18 months now that we put out on reels. Any reel that gets more engagement, not the reach or views, we put that out as an ad. And that always does better.
Lovely.
Hi, this is Kiran. This question is for mostly all of you guys. So I just want to understand what are the different AI tools you're using in order to manage or optimize or analyze your campaigns?
Somebody wants to answer that, or I? Okay, I'll answer that. I am currently using a very simple software called Contlo. What predominantly, it's not just for campaigns, but so it takes care of campaigns, it takes care of what product, what trajectory, what numbers, how is it doing, what market is it capturing. It creates various segments for me basis whatever inputs I give it. And along with that, it also integrates my email campaigns and WhatsApp campaigns along. So whatever cohorts and segments I want to create, I kind of put it in one place, measure the metrics there, and also run my marketing campaigns out there. So that's one software that definitely comes up in my mind. But, okay, I don't know if I should say this or not, but I genuinely feel till I reached 1 crore monthly number, I was happy doing things manually. I just feel that sometimes you also overcomplicate a lot of things. A lot of things are just simply there, put out there. Fundamentally, solve for your AOVs, solve for your website, your landing pages, your check on your bounce rates, check on heat map analysis. Now, heat map analysis is again something that you'll have to do visually, manually, so you'll have to mix up a lot of angles of not just numbers, but also a little of your own creativity that, what is that heat map telling you about the customer and the journey around it. But I think to make life easier, I think Contlo is something that's really working fine for me.
Great.
And Big.ai, you said that's the only software that comes. I think Big.ai does the same thing. So.
Happy to chat after this session, but Big.ai as a platform could help you holistically to manage your marketing plus support all under one platform. You don't have to worry about creating flows, creating segments, anything of that sort. You just come on board on Big.ai and it runs on auto mode. That is what we believe in. And like he said, if your tool is not making your life easier and you feel that manually it was more feasible than doing it in a tool, then maybe it's too early to get onboarded. But what we believe honestly is if you have more than 10,000 customers on your D2C website, then it's time to have a tool, because beyond that, if you're not reading data, because more than campaigns, it's about reading data. And if it has become difficult for you, beyond 10,000, it's actually very, very difficult. So that's area. Thank you, Vinayak, for this.
Another thing, the simple chat GPT is there for all the creative sort of briefs. I mean, when you want to type out a brief, you write the core objective and, you get a slightly detailed brief, right? So, I mean, with respect to productivity, slightly getting more detailed, like when you might miss out on, you just have a picture of the campaign idea, but you might miss out on the details. So I think ChatGPT really, really helps there. The other thing for us is also DALI. We are a very design-led brand. So when we have to create some references, that sort of helps because you put those thoughts there and there is this referencing that helps. I mean, you don't use that because it's very, very amateur at that, but then that referencing really helps to create something bigger.
Absolutely, I think I completely agree. And the moment there is enough customer base and you want to make your life easy, please go in for tools. It just makes life easier, decision making easier. And I think she's already invited you over a chat after this, so probably you can in detail speak to her as well. I think we've kind of done with the time here, and we thank this lovely audience to listen to us. It was a pleasure speaking here in front of all of you, and probably catch up with you separately also in the evening. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.